Hello everyone, welcome back to our session, and today we are going to discuss a few concepts from the topic playing with numbers of class 3. And basically we are going to focus on two topics, that is using symbols to show smaller and bigger numbers. So we are going to discuss about this topic, but before that let's see what are the symbols that we use and how do we compare smaller and bigger numbers. So there are three symbols that we use basically for comparing numbers. So the first number is equal to. Let me write it using the text tool. The first symbol is equal to symbol. Equal to symbol is used when the two numbers that we are comparing are equal to each other. When the two numbers being compared are equal or same, we compare such numbers using the equal to symbol. For example, let's say 24 is equal to 24, or we can take another example. uh, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So the left hand side, that is 2 plus 3 is 5, then the right hand side is also a 5. Both of them are equal. So we compare these numbers using this equal to symbol. So equal to symbol is very important. You must have seen it being used in maths a lot. Now the next symbol that we are going to discuss about is the less than symbol, which looks something like this, a crocodile's mouth. So let's see when is this symbol used. So when one value is less than the other, we use the less than symbol. So let's take an example of where we can use the less than symbol. For example, let's say we have two numbers, one is 34 while the other is 56. Now have a look at the two numbers. This tens column over here we have a 3, and in this number in the tens column we have a 5. Now this 5 is more than this 3. That means we have to use the less than symbol over here. That means 34 is less than 56. If I try writing that in a proper sentence, we would write that as 34 is less than 56. 34 is less than 56. There's another way to have a look at this. See this crocodile sign. It always opens its mouth towards the bigger number. So 56 was bigger, so the crocodile has opened its mouth towards 56, and 34 was smaller, so the crocodile is not much interested to eat 34. So 56 is bigger, 56 बड़ा है, so we are using the less than symbol over here. जो भी नंबर आपका राइट साइड पे लिखा होगा, अगर वो नंबर बड़ा है, so we would be using the less than symbol. Okay, now let's move on and discuss about the more than symbol. Okay, so here's the third symbol, the more than symbol. It looks quite similar to the less than symbol, just its mouth is open towards the bigger side this time. So when one value is more than the other, we use the more than symbol. We use the more than symbol. Now an example for more than symbol. For example, let's say we have two numbers 56 and 34. Let's say we have 56 and 34. So what we would do here, 56 we know is bigger than 34. We would use the more than symbol this time because 56 is more than 34. If I try writing that as a sentence, I would write that as 56 is more than 34. This is how we write it, which means 56 is bigger than 34. 56 is more than 34. There's another way to have a look at it. 56 लेफ्ट साइड पे लिखा हुआ है एंड 34 इज़ ऑन द राइट साइड. सो लेफ्ट साइड का नंबर अगर आपका बिगर है, सो वी यूज़ दिस मोर दैन सिंबल. नाउ लेफ्ट साइड का नंबर आपका बिगर है, ये हाउ वुड यू जज दैट? You would look at the tens column of both the numbers. So 5 is bigger than 3. That's why we use the more than symbol over here. Okay. Now there's one more way to look at it. जो आपका crocodile का mouth है, that always opens towards the bigger number. So 56, since it's bigger, the crocodile's mouth is opened towards 56. Okay, now we are done with the basic three symbols of comparing numbers. Now let's move on to how to compare two digit numbers or two 3-digit numbers. So we would be learning about them over here. Now before moving on, let me make a place value chart for you. You all must be knowing about a place value chart. This is a place value chart. Now if we have a two-digit number, we know that a two-digit number will have two columns in its place value chart. So column 1, for the first column would be the ones column, while the second one would be tens. Now let's say we have a two-digit number. We have a two-digit number 56. This is the two-digit number. Now we have another two-digit number. Now this two-digit number again, let's say it has 45. This is another two-digit number. Now let's go through both of the numbers together. The first number has 5 in the tens column. The second one has 4 in the tens column. So if we try comparing both the numbers 56 and 45, if we try using those three symbols, any one of those three symbols, to compare these numbers, what do you think? Which number is bigger? We would look at the tens column of both the numbers. Here we have 5 in the tens column, which means it's 50. Here we have 4 in the tens column, which means it's 40. And 50 is bigger than 40, which means 56 is bigger than 45. Now बहुत सारे बच्चे इस चीज़ में कंफ्यूज होते हैं कि वंस कॉलम में वी हैव 6 एंड 5, और 6 जो है वो 5 से बड़ा है. So like when you are comparing two digit numbers, when you are comparing a number that is having two digits, we always look at the tens column. हम लोग सिर्फ टेंस कॉलम को देखते हैं एंड वी डिसाइड इफ़ द नंबर इज़ बिगर और स्मॉलर. वंस कॉलम से हमको कोई मतलब नहीं होता है. ओके, we always look at the tens column. We will always look at 5 and 4 to decide which number is bigger. Is it 56 or 45? Now in another case we look at the ones column also. When do we look at the ones column? जब हमारे tens column same हो. Let's say we have a number 45 and there's another number 47 and we have to compare these two numbers. Now in this case, can you see the tens column जो है वो, the tens column, that is 4, is the same for both the numbers. 4 same है दोनों numbers में. In this case we will move on and compare the ones column. Here we have a 5 while here we have a 7. So which number is bigger, 5 or 7? 7 is bigger. So we would put a crocodile sign towards the 7. So 47 would be bigger than 45. हम लोग वंस कॉलम को तभी देखते हैं जब टेंस कॉलम सेम हो. अदरवाइज हम लोग वंस कॉलम्स को इग्नोर करके सिर्फ टेंस कॉलम को ही देखते हैं while comparing two digit numbers. Here we have two digit numbers. These are two digits. इनमें सिर्फ two digits हैं. So for this we are just looking at the the tens column. Now let's move on and let's see what will we do if we have 3-digit numbers. Now here we have the hundreds column, then we have the tens column, and we have the ones column. Below that, again I would be comparing two numbers for 3 digits also. So hundreds, tens, and we have the ones column. Now let's try writing 3-digit numbers in this place value chart. Let's say we have a number 304, and we have another number 456. We have to compare these two numbers. So हमें ये बताना है कि 304 is bigger और 456 is bigger. कौन बड़ा है? So we would do again the same thing. This time we would be looking at the hundreds column. हम सिर्फ hundreds column को देखेंगे. In case of a 3-digit number, we always look at the hundreds column. यहाँ पे भी hundreds column को we look at. Now in both the numbers, the hundreds column, in one number it's 3, in the other number it's 4. So हमें 3 and 4 को compare करना है, and we have to decide which number is bigger. So here we have 300, here we have 400, which basically means 400 is more than 300. So we would put this more than sign, less than sign, because 304 is less than 456, so we would use the less than sign. Now this is the case when we have different digits. हम लोग tens और ones column को नहीं देखेंगे इस केस में. We would not look at the tens and ones column, because हम सिर्फ hundreds column से ही decide कर लिया हमने कि कौन सा number bigger है. So no need to go for the tens and ones column. But yes, if we have two numbers जिनमें hundreds column same हो, in that case we need to look at the tens and the ones column. Let's see another number. Let's say we have two numbers. One is 456 while the other number we are going to compare is 439, let's say. Now in this case, have a look. 4 is the same for both the numbers. That means we have 400 over here also, we have 400 over here also. 4 is the same. Now since the 4 is the same, we would now move on to the tens column. हम लोग अब टेंस कॉलम को देखेंगे. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द टेंस कॉलम, here we have a 5 that is 50 and here we have a 3 that is 30, and we know 50 जो है वो 30 से बड़ा होता है, which means we would use the more than symbol over here. 456 would be greater than 439. This is how we compare two 3-digit numbers. Now this was the basic concept of how to compare numbers. Now let's say if we have a set of 3-digit numbers, let's say 345, and here also we have 345. Now in this case, what do you think we have to write? We have to write the equal to sign, because 345 is equal to 345. यहाँ पर ना ही हम लोग लेस दैन का सिंबल यूज़ करेंगे और ना ही मोर दैन का. We would use the equal to symbol over here. Okay, now this was the basic knowledge about 2 and 3-digit numbers and how we compare them. Now let's get back to a few questions based on comparing such numbers. We would try doing these questions together. Okay, so let's begin with the first one. 345 and 456. We have to compare these two numbers. Now हम लोग क्या करेंगे? सबसे पहले we will look at the hundreds column. In the first number we have 3 in the hundreds column. Second number में we have 4 in the hundreds column. So 400 we know is more than 300. That means 456 is bigger, which means crocodile अपना mouth खोलेगा towards 456 and he would ignore 345. So 456 जाएगा crocodile के mouth में. Okay, now the next two set of two numbers are 729 and 356. Now in this case, again we would compare the hundreds column. So if we compare the hundreds column, the 7 is bigger than 3. So we would use this greater than more than symbol, and 729 would be bigger than 356. This is how we do it. Now comes the next one, 455. Now can you see over here, both the numbers have the same digits, 455 on both sides, which means we would do 455 equal to 455, because on both sides the digits are all the same. Now comes the next one. We would first compare the hundreds column. So as we see, here we have a 200, here we have a 600. We know that 678 is bigger than 230, so we would use the less than sign. 230 is less than 678. Let's move on to the next set of numbers, 560 and 566. Now over here, as we can see, 560 में we have 5 in the hundreds column, and in this number also we have 5 in the hundreds column. So we can't compare them, both of them are same. We would move on to the tens column. In the tens column we have 6 in the tens column and we have 6 again in the tens column. No need to compare them as well because they both are same. Now at last we would move to the hundred, the ones column. Here we have a 0 while here we have a 6. Now 0 is less than 6. 0 6 से कम होता है, which means 566 is more than 560, which means 560 is less than 566. 560 जो है वो 566 से छोटा है. It's smaller than 566. Okay, let's move on to the next set of numbers. Here we have a 4 while here we have a 6 in the hundreds column. So again we would compare the 4 and the 6. So 4 is, since 4 is less than 6, we would again use the less than symbol. Let's move for the last one, 3 and 2. Now here 3 is more than 2, which means 345 is more than 290. Here we would use the more than symbol. So we are done with comparing basic numbers. Now let's come to a bit tricky questions. इसमें direct numbers नहीं दिए होंगे, but we still have to compare them. So let's begin with the first one. 300 plus 60 plus 7. If we write that in a proper notation number form, we would write that as 367. Here we have 367 while the other side is 456. So 3 is less than 4. Since 3 is less than 4, which means 456 is bigger, which means the hungry crocodile will eat 456. And can you see its mouth is open towards 456. So 367 जो है वो 456 से छोटा है, and 367 is less than 456. Now let's move on for the next set of numbers. Here we have 324 while on the other side we have 137. We have 137. So what do you think? 137 जो होता है वो 324 से कम होता है कि ज़्यादा? Let's have a look at the hundreds column. Here we have a 1, here we have a 3. 1 is less than 3. 1 जो होता है वो 3 से छोटा होता है, which means 137 is less than 324. So hungry crocodile will eat 324. And we would use the more than symbol over here. Let's move on for the next set of numbers. 267, 567. Now if I try writing 267 in a number form, it would be written as 267. Now let's look at the first digit. It's 2 over here and 5 over here, which means 2 is less than 5. Since 2 is less than 5, we would write that, use the less than symbol. So 267 is less than 567. This is how we write that. Okay, now let's move on for the next set of numbers. We have 544. So we write that as 544. 544, we would, what do you think? We would use the less than or more than symbol. Look at the 5 and the 2. The 5 is more than 2. 5 2 से बड़ा है. So we would use the more than symbol. So 544 is more than 237. At last we have another set of numbers. This is 600 and this is 57. So now have a look at this number. On one side we have a 3-digit number, while on the other side we have a 2-digit number. Now looking at the two numbers, we can see that the 2-digit numbers are always less than 3-digit numbers. The lowest 3-digit number is 100. Below 100 we have all 2-digit numbers. So 2-digit numbers are always less than 3-digit numbers, which means 57 is less than 600. 57 600 से छोटा है. So क्योंकि यहाँ पे we don't have anything in the hundreds column. Can you see? We have nothing in the hundreds column, while here we have 6 in the hundreds column. So 600 is bigger. So we would write that like this. 600 is more than 57. Okay. So we are done with the basic questions of comparing numbers. Let's practice a bit more. Let's say we have two numbers. One is 100 123, while the other number is 129. So what do you think, which number is bigger? हम लोग सबसे पहले इसको नंबर फॉर्म में लिखेंगे 123. The second number is already written in the number form 129. Now have a look. जो 1 है that is same for both of them. The 2 is same for both of them. The 3 in the ones column and the 9 in the ones column are different. We have 3 in the ones column in this one and we have 9 in the ones column in the other one. So 9 जो है that is bigger than 3, which means we would use the more than symbol over here. 129 is bigger than 100 and 123. Now there's another pair of numbers that we can use. Let's say we have a number 200 and 266, and we have another pair of numbers 59. So here we have 266 and here we have 59. Now 266 जो है वो बड़ा है 59 से. 256 is more than 59. Do you know the reason? Because we have 2 in the hundreds column over here and we have nothing in the hundreds column over here. यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है hundreds column में and there we have a 2. So since we have a 2 in the hundreds column, so 266 is more than 59. We would write that like this. 266 is more than 59. This is how we write it. Okay. Now we are done with comparing the basic numbers. Now let's see if we have any practice questions in your book related to this concept that we have done today. Now there was one more thing that we had to discuss in this. Comparing two numbers, now we have got how to use symbols to compare two numbers. Now what about smallest and biggest number? If we have many numbers, how would we find the smallest and the biggest number? Now let's say we have 3 or 4 numbers given together. I would start with 2-digit numbers because that would be quite easy for you. So 45, then 67, 56 and 98. Let's try comparing these 4 numbers and we will try finding the smallest and the biggest number. So smallest number. If we talk about the smallest number, have a look at all the 4 numbers very carefully. The first number is 45. We have 4 in the tens column. The second number is 67, 6 in the tens column. The third number is 56, so 5 in the tens column. And at last we have 98, 9 in the tens column. So as we compare all the 4 numbers, we find out that 4, that is 45, is the smallest. 4 जो है वो 5, 9 and 6 से छोटा है. So 4 is the smallest. So 45 would be the smallest number. Now let's talk about the largest number, the biggest number. Biggest number is, now for the biggest number we have to look at all the numbers carefully. So again, now we have 4 in the tens column, 6, 5 and 9. Now if we look at all the 4 digits, 4, 6, 5 and 9. 9 is the biggest among all the 4 digits. That means 98 is the biggest. 98 is the biggest. is the biggest number. Now let's take another set of 4 numbers, 34, 56, 47 and 39. Another set of 4 numbers. Now let's try comparing these 4 numbers. So we would begin again with the tens column. Here we have a 3, 5, 4 and again a 3. Now this time I've made a bit tricky for you. So this time we have 2 3s and then 5 and 4. So what we would do, we would again compare these four numbers. So here 3, 5, 4 and 3. Now 5 and 4 we would write the smallest number. For finding the smallest number, we would look at 3, 5, 4 and 3. Now as we know 5 and 4 are bigger than 3. 5 और 4 जो हैं वो 3 से बड़े हैं. But we have two numbers that have 3 in their tens column. So हम लोग सिर्फ इन दो numbers को फ़िलहाल compare करेंगे. We would compare the 34 and 39. हम सिर्फ 34 और 39 को compare करेंगे. Now what do you think? 34 and 39. 34 और 39 में से कौन सा number smaller होगा? In 34 we have 4 in the ones column, and in 39 we have 9 in the ones column, which means 39 is bigger and 34 is smaller, because 4 जो होता है वो 9 से छोटा होता है. So 34 is smaller than 39. So the smallest number would be 34. Now if I talk about the biggest number, for the biggest number, again we would compare all the four numbers. So 3, 4, 5 and again a 3. Now we know that 3's are smaller. 3 तो छोटे होते हैं. 4 is also smaller, but 5 is the biggest. 5 in the tens column सबसे बड़ा है. So that means 56 is the biggest number. 56 सबसे बड़ा number है. Okay, now this was relating to 2-digit numbers. Let's try practicing comparing 3-digit numbers. So let's say we have another question in which we have 4 3-digit numbers: 345, 890, 236 and 554. Let's say we have these 4 numbers. इस बार हम लोग सिर्फ hundreds column को देखेंगे. We only look at the hundreds column. So we have 3 over here, 8 over here, 2 over here and 5. So 3, 8, 2 and 5 में से we have to decide which is the smallest number. Smallest number कौन सा है? How would we decide that? We would look at the hundreds column of all the 4 numbers and then we would compare them. So 3, 8, 2 and 5 में से we have 3 over here, 8, 2 and 5. So 3, 8 is the biggest and 2 is the smallest. 2 सबसे छोटा है, 8 सबसे बड़ा है, which means 236 is the smallest number. 236 सबसे छोटा number है, because 200 जो है वो 500, 800 और 300 से छोटा है. Now let's look at the biggest number. For finding the biggest number, we have to compare these four numbers. So 3, 8, 2 and 5 में से we will decide which number is biggest. कौन सा number सबसे बड़ा है. So again we know that 8 जो है वो 3, 2 and 5 से बड़ा है. So 890 is the biggest. 890 सबसे बड़ा नंबर है, it is the biggest number. Okay, now this was the basic concept about comparing numbers, and I have made you practice compare 2-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers. Now let's come to a few basic questions like revision. Let's say we have to compare any two-digit numbers. So उसमें we will look at which column to decide which number is bigger. Like let's say we have two numbers 45 and 78. हम कौन से कॉलम में देखेंगे? We'll look at which column to decide that which number is bigger. कौन सा नंबर बड़ा है ये देखने के लिए which column do we look at? The answer is we would look at the tens column. हम सबसे पहले tens column को देखेंगे. Here we have 4 in the tens column and here we have 7 in the tens column. So 7 is bigger than 4. So हम लोग 7 को consider करेंगे, 78 को bigger. So we would use the less than symbol over here. That means 45 is less than 78. हम लोग tens column को सबसे पहले देखेंगे. But in that case हम लोग ones column को कब देखेंगे? When do we look at the ones column? When the tens column is the same. जब tens column same होगा two numbers का, we would look at the ones column. Now one more question. Let's say we have two 3-digit numbers 344 and 346. Now here can you tell me which place value column would help you to decide which number is bigger? Which place value column which will help you to decide which number is bigger? So the answer for this question is the ones column. Let me show you how. वंस कॉलम जो है वो आपकी हेल्प करेगा डिसाइड करने में कि कौन सा नंबर बिगर है. लेट्स सी. कैन यू सी द टेंस कॉलम इज द सेम फॉर बोथ द हंड्रेड्स कॉलम is the same for both the numbers, that is 3. The tens column is the same for both the numbers, that is 4. But in the ones column we have a 4 and here we have a 6. Now 6 जो है वो 4 से बड़ा है, which means 346 is more than 344 or 344 is less than 346. So basically हमें किस प्लेस वैल्यू कॉलम से हेल्प मिली टू डिसाइड वेदर टू राउंड वेदर विच नंबर इज बिगर? हमें वंस कॉलम की हेल्प से ये पता लगा दैट 346 इज बिगर. सो दिस मीन्स दैट द करेक्ट आंसर इज वंस कॉलम. वी वुड लुक एट द वंस कॉलम. Okay, so this was all about today's session. This was the basic comparing numbers and we have covered almost everything about comparing numbers up to 3 digits in this session. So we would continue more more learning about numbers in our next session. So if you liked my session, please like the session, do share and subscribe, do share it with your friends. And we would meet another day at 4 o'clock with something new this time. So bye.